And that was a really interesting matchup because if that match had happened at the beginning of stage
selamat
1, we probably would have been more
siang.
split on those predictions. Now we're looking at the key players
Hari
here,
ini
Izu
kita
and
live
Almi, who are
lagi
speaking of
nonton
face right now.
This is not fair. I mean, this is
Pacific Stage
just
1 ya.
not fair.
Oh, kayak kenceng banget cuy suaranya.
Elmore has one of the games of his own
Hari
legacy.
ini yang
And
main
then
itu
you're just timing that
T1
comparison to Izu.
lawan
Granted, Izu when he's playing the Yoru and things like
RRQ.
that, he's looked
RRQ.
great. But
RRQ.
also when he has to go over to some of these other roles that he may not be as
Dua
comfortable
game
with,
sebelumnya
namely
RRQ menang
seem
ya.
to be initiators,
Tahu
that's
bersih
where he
2
falters a bit.
match.
And I think that's something that RRQ can target
Dan
in the
ini
map draft, right? If they can force either Izu
gua
or
rasa
Rossi
sih
to have
bakal
to play
menang lagi karena
flashes, that's where T1 looks weakest.
T1 udah
If
main
it's not
3 kali dan
quickly
3
setting
kalinya
up
kalah
Saya,
semua.
something in that calm, something in that sync
Jadi
starts
kalau
to
lihat
break
dari
apart.
previous
Same could be
match-nya
said
ya,
for RQ though. Elmi more sure he looked great on the Sova, but
T1
the Sky,
T1
I
RRQ
think a lot of
lebih
us could do away with that
punya
for a couple
chance
more weeks as well.
buat menang ya.
And now we're going to look at the data, the map data for both of these teams for 2024 so far.
Yeah, I mean, a breeze, pretty big one here. Both teams really liking the Yoru, so I'm curious if either team is going to try to just avoid that outright. Maybe very likely to go to a map 3 as well.
Ya, karena
But
T1
there's some
tuh
clear tendencies, especially T1. Obviously,
3
that
game
Lotus
sebelumnya tuh
still
emang
seems to
lawan
be a
tim
comfort
yang
pick for them.
Yeah,
bisa
absolutely.
bilang
You've
top
said it already. It's that
top
breeze, the
di
Lotus,
region
maybe
Pasifik
even
ini tuh.
on the ascent since Saya players still
Masalah
plays
tuh PRX,
hyper aggressive
DRX
on that
sama
map.
apa ya?
And unfortunately for RRQ
DRX,
and
oh
Almi
enggak,
Moore, we're
satu
probably
lawan
not going to see
DFM.
another
Dan
30k
itu
drop or even 0
surprise
kills
banget
because
T1
T1
kalah,
is
nggak
not
ngerti
like
gitu.
Icebox.
No, that's their permaban for sure.
Oke ini map anjing
Got
telur
our two
ngapain lu
coaches, Coach
Bani
Autumn
Bani.
and Coach Ewok here.
So I'm imagining that the permabans will just kind of come through, right? Icebox obviously T1 avoiding it like the plague, absolutely, and RRQ avoiding that sunset as much as they can help it. So once that's out, I mean RRQ has already played the Lotus earlier this weekend, and it looked like they were prepared to play against a lot of opping as well. So I think this was actually specifically in preparation to T1. I wouldn't be surprised if that just gets let through. So the sunset ban there. The real question becomes, what's RRQ's first pick?
Oke, Ben Sunset ya.
Drum roll to answer Will's question. Is
Ascent.
Ascent. That is
I like it.
curious. All I can think of Ascent is RRQ's longest game. Do you remember that last year when it went on so overtime?
Oh, yes.
Gila,
So
pick
long
Ascent.
overtime.
Yeah, and that was when Depp actually put down that record as well for the most kills before it got taken over by Aspas. You're right. Yeah, that is crazy. But the Ascent pick is nice from RQ, I think, because T1, they just went back to the meta comp. Of course, that means that they're going to have Rossi playing the KO and things like that. And it didn't seem that good. DFM also just showed some very clear tendencies and weaknesses that T1 holds on to when they're playing on that Ascent.
Yeah, especially, again, as I mentioned, how Saya player has been super aggressive at kind of going for those by himself peaks, and it does, once he gets picked off, it does lose a lot of map control here for T1, so RRQ may be banking on the fact that that could be a tendency that he hasn't really fixed coming into this first map, so probably why we're seeing a set here from RRQ.
And T1 on Ascent. We do have some data on this.
Yeah, just on T1 side though, right? So RRQ also going with a map that T1 doesn't have any thoughts to ante on, especially since the role changes have happened. I gotta imagine that stays here for RRQ. Selmy more probably playing the Sova, probably going with a meta comp, just a question of Killjoy or a Cypher there for Xfero on the side of RRQ.
I mean,
Lawan
I wouldn't be
PRX,
remiss if
2-0 lawan PRX.
they try to do something
walaupun
different
2-0
coming
lawan
into this
PRX,
one. Maybe an agent comp
itu
difference. We have seen
poinnya
that from some of the teams. I know it's
The Rays,
maybe a
tahun
little bit too
poinnya.
late, but not
busuk-busukan.
out there.
personally, I'm a bigger fan of the Rays these days on Ascent. So,
Fair.
I mean, off of DFM showing how successful it can be, if RRQ's cooked that up, I think that's huge news. But on the side of T1, listen, they saw the weaknesses of the Viper comp, so they went back to the meta composition, but their tendencies remain the same. They really love to hang on to that A short, and DFM just punished them so hard on their defaults with those setups. So I'm curious, like, how much of RRQ's map pick here is influenced by DFM's victory and their compositions?
The question I have is about our predictions. And William, you know, you're saying you're so disappointed with your predictions last year with RRQ, and this year you're on a T1 run. Did you predict T1 or RRQ today?
I mean, quite frankly, it just seems like I can't win either way.
Oh.
But
Okay.
listen, but I said this before coming into week 2. This was the last line
Kan banyak kan
this week
megang
for
RRQ
T1.
kan.
And it's not even about win or loss. It's just, do you show the same form that we saw during the offseason and during kickoff? If you can't show it, first of all, I don't think they quite showed it against DRX. So if they don't show it today, like that's when all hope kind of seems lost. And I don't know the reason, but I can't hold on to it any longer.
What do you have to say to that, Asterai?
I mean, I just figured out that Will's the one that has the most faith in a team. So once that kind of faith shatters, then you know that you've done something wrong.
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds kind of mean. I don't mean it that way for T1.
Oh,
But-
I mean, oh, look, T1 is by means not at all. If we were doing like power ranks right now, T1 is
yeah.
not near the bottom.
No,
at
they
all.
shouldn't be. They
They're-
shouldn't be.
This is a very difficult match to predict.
But I will say, if they don't look good in this match, I'm knocking them down on my own power rankings. Like, that's just how much I've waited, right?
You're like a disappointed Asian parent.
Exactly.
How like you've disappointed
I
me
will
with
be the
these grades.
T1 Tiger Mob, right?
Okay, that's William is that. Asterai, you picked RRQ. We picked RRQ. Why are you predicting RRQ today?
I mean, for me, it's just very simple. I've seen how Jemkin has done during Ascension Pacific, and I'm happy that he's coming in to this one from Gem Keen to Gem King. RRQ King of Kings. It kind of fits the moniker pretty well.
yeah.
So I'm liking this, and that's why I'm predicting RRQ.
Okay. I mean, look, I think we didn't get to see a lot of RRQ near the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, kickoff. You can say it's the way, the groups have been seeded or what have you, but what they've shown so far, I like it. But like I said just now, I think this is a very difficult match to predict. And if it goes in, against my prediction, I'm not going to be surprised. And in fact, I'll be quite happy for them too, because I think they need this win.
Yo, T1?
The Alpha group need this one.
Well, the Alpha group needs this win. Yes, it's not even about T1 anymore.
Yeah.
It's just about Alpha
Yeah.
in total. They desperately need this win.
With that, I would like to invite the coach of RRQ back with us. We don't have Tacti Bear to compare to the Ewok. This time we got Dan the Penguin.
Ooh.
Welcome back, coach. And I
Welcome,
see
welcome.
you've added a new pin to your pin collection.
Is the number of pins correlate to the number of wins for RRQ?
Hopefully I have a third one.
You're gonna be like a Boy Scout?
Yeah. I don't mind as long as we're winning. I'll be wearing all the pins.
Oh, well, that will look really great on stage. Okay, the last time you were with us, you were very modest about your team's performance. You didn't want to set expectations too high. You were very humble. How are you feeling today, now that you have 2 wins under your belt?
I don't think anything changes until we qualify for playoffs. We're not in a guaranteed spot at all right now. We need more wins, especially how the Omega group has been faring so far. So we just know we need more wins.
All right. Well, there are 3 teams that a lot of Pacific, a lot of VCT is looking at right now: Gen G, T1, and Paper Rex. What do you make of these 3 teams and how RRQ will fare amongst them?
I think the group is strong for sure. So we're not taking anything for granted. We know we want to be at the top. Because if we can get the top seed, then it just means the easier route for us to try and qualify for Masters Shanghai. So we know whatever it takes, we'll do that.
All right, so we've heard the interview for Elmi Moore where he was saying how the role changes really helped them out. After those 2 wins, was there a need for more preparation to kind of fix that? Was it too quick, or has any of the players been struggling with the role changes that you guys have done, moving forward into the series?
So yeah, last time I was here, I couldn't really talk about the role changes because you guys haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So of course that was something that we were working on a lot. It is something that it's not something I'm going to take credit from. It's something that the players asked for themselves, and I warned them, we can try this. I do believe in the roles that you guys want to play, but we need to see how it works in scrims. And then I gave them a certain time slot. They need to be showing what they got on these agents. And then we decided, let's stick to it. It looks good. Everyone's really comfortable on it. So I think it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay. Now, we've already seen the map draft come through. So my big question is, as you guys pick Ascent against T1, was this always a very big candidate for you against T1, even maybe in their previous competitions? Or is this heavily influenced by the fact that DFM absolutely showed a masterclass against T1 on that map?
I think it was a combo of DFM playing well and T1 maybe not being as strong on the map. But it's not. We're definitely not just picking it because we think, DFM won, we can win. That is not the thought process.
Sure.
For us, people think we don't play the map. So I hope that we can show a performance today to show that we do like this map.
Now, for the remaining matches RRQ has, who will be the toughest opponent for you?
Well, obvious answer. We have Genji at the end. We're gonna end it off with Genji. We hope to be in a strong position by then. So we, in the best case
Genji.
scenario, we want to be competing with Genji right at the end to try and get that top slot. That's where we want to be, and that's hopefully where we will be.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you
Oh, okay.
go.
Okay. Oh, so fine.
I
Thank you.
know. I was
Getting back to
reacting
me.
to his answer. That's why. Yeah.
Now T1, we've observed they haven't been playing as well as they were in kickoff. What do you make of T1 at the moment as an opponent?
I think they're still a really scary team. I think on paper the roster is really good. I don't think they played poorly in any of their games. They had a lot of close matches, had the 2-1s. So I don't think we're going to overlook them at all. I think today it's going to be a tough match, I think.
Yeah, we think so too. And I have to ask about your icebox just the other day. What are your thoughts on that and your team's performance? You obviously won,
Yeah.
but what do you make of it as a coach?
Well, the elephant in the room was the 0, right? 0 and the win.
Yep.
For me, I don't mind. As long as he does his job as the IGL and we win, I don't care. The scoreboard, well, doesn't do anything if
So
we're winning.
then I think the follow-up question has to be, were you very satisfied with the calls that you were hearing, or is it simply that, oh, we won, so it's fine?
I think the calling was good throughout both maps. We kind of avoided a lot of their traps. We knew that's the kind of style that they like to play. They're not really going to fight us too deep in aggro stuff. I'm not going to try and not give anything away. But yeah, that's the read that we have, and I thought that Talon did a really good job at doing that against Bleed. So we tried to learn some things from how Talon did it, and for them it worked out really well.
What was like the reaction when you saw Flipsider? You just wanted to hear it after the match because everyone was kind of talking about it. What was your reaction?
We all just memeing in the team about it. He took it like a good sport.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So
good.
of course he wants to put up bigger numbers, but if the team's winning, once again we don't really care about the scoreboard too much.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I do know you have to go on stage to meet the rest of your team. I don't want to take up more of your time. Thank you so much, Coach Ewok. All the best. You're so kind to our
Such a cute fella.
Yes, yes. This is Dan. Yeah.
Is Dan?
Dan the Penguin.
Dan
His
the
name is
Penguin?
Dan the
yes.
Penguin.
All right, I'll
Well-
come back for you, Dan.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you
Awesome.
down
Thank
at the stage. I feel like all the coaches should get one of these. We just tempt them with these super adorable Valorant plushies.
That's how
Throughout the-
Riot gets it.
Yeah.
And now all the teams will have to buy them for their coaching staff.
And you'll
It's
s-
all part of the marketing plan.
You'll just see like Dan next time when Ewok's doing his coaching thing on the
Ang
monitor. He
gawa.
just has like
Oh,
the
there you
huge
go.
Dan.
There you go. Yeah.
Where he pins Dan to his
Oh, that's
his
it.
jacket. Yeah, so what do you guys make of that? Ewok, he's looking, good in spirits. Trying to stay humble
Sure.
about this. They've been doing well, but it's Valorant. Things can change just like that. So what do you guys make of this?
I think the biggest thing for me was that this change came from the players directly, right? And I think when you have a team where the players feel comfortable to voice their opinions, the coach feels comfortable enough to trust it, and then you have the time to work it out, that's perfect. So I think that was a big thing for me. It wasn't anyone suggesting it to the players. They came up with it. They had the time during Masters Madrid. They decided to work on it, and then he was satisfied with what he saw. I mean, I think if you're a fan of that team, that's all the proof you need that this is going in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just looking at how the mood was from Ewok, but even though there were some kind of hiccups along the way, it's just like just shrug it off. We'll have fun. We'll enjoy it when we'll kind of mull it over during our free time and just fix it. And it looks like he's looking pretty good coming into this one.
Yeah, I would say that's sort of the, we talk about how stylistically different each of the regions are. Even within Pacific itself, it seems a lot of the Southeast Asian teams seem to have a very different approach, at least in terms of like energy and vibe and how they tackle a loss or just fixing a problem to help make sure they keep going through and making it to the end.
Yeah, and I think that's something that RRQ and T1 actually both struggled with within their teams, right? Because both of them have mixed rosters when it comes to these regions and where they were originally playing back in Challengers. And I know both coaching staff kind of talked about it as well, whether it's culturally, whether it's play style, right? And you see it in their play. Like some players really want to get in there and fight. And other players are like, no, we got to like play default. We got to wait for the timing. We got to wait for utility, etc. But now, again, I mean, for T1, we saw it a little bit during the offseason. missing out on it right now, but hopefully it comes back. But for RRQ, it seems like they're more and more in sync. No one's really getting too far ahead, but when they do, it's for good reason. It's because they have full faith that the information they have allows them to make a big play.
Yeah, and speaking of like making these big plays, they were talking about how, sometimes communication is an issue, and that was something that they actually fixed, with this kind of role adjustment, because some of the players that are going to be on that first contact can now do those communications a lot more smoothly. So you're seeing that cohesion really come into play right now for RRQ.
Now, Jen came by to inform us the IGL for T1 is now Excurate.
Yeah.
Speaking of communication.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, how much we want to weigh on this, because... Like, I mean, it also depends on IGLing style, right? Like, is it like that person making all the calls? Are they just kind of the sum of all the ideas? However, I will say Excurate always seemed very vocal, whether it's in the team comms or whether they're in their waiting room during the offseason, things like that. So I think he's got the energy and obviously the experience and history to do it. Whether he has the right reads or not, that we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things here is if he's the one that's doing the mid-round calls, that's going to be very important, because the mid-round plays was the one that was lacking for T1.
Now we are going to welcome the players onto stage, and we are definitely going to talk more about Excurate and his IGLing style. He is a very seasoned vet in the esports scene. Let's go to the stage and welcome T1 and RRQ.
Sulit juga sih. Banyak Korea ya kan. Kita dulu. Karpe sama ini. Karpe semok kalau mas. Jadi gigelnya karpe tuh.
T1.
Inisiator dia. Ini inisiator.
RRQ.
Itu smoker. Gara-gara tua gitu Kevin. Dia umur ya. Tapi 98 sih, umuran sama Izu 2004. Tahu 98 umuran mereka.
And welcoming our two teams, RRQ and T1. You can see their team capsules up on the stage there. The bass is turned up high for the new song, Undefeated by XG. It's our Valorant Pacific theme this year. Now we have our two teams lined up, looking all right.
Yeah, well, we've got one team that is, in fact, undefeated, and the other team defeated. Yeah. So obviously T1 trying to change their fates here, but just to go off of what we were talking about right before the player walkouts, the IGLing for Excurate, I will say one thing I think this could really benefit from is we're seeing a trend across the entire world in VCT where IGLs who are able to get their own information by digging deep into the map, by going into lurks, by either being very big part of that entry, they're making huge calls. So Excurate, on that op, on that sentry, on those lurks, he could be the one that brings us all together for T1.
Same could be said for RRQ here. I mean, more going on an initiator role is, again, as I mentioned, able to get more information as well and just kind of relay it to the rest of the team, allowing them to just work off of it so well from what we saw in those previous matches.
Now, of course, on the side of RRQ, I mean, again, that similar trend is Elmimore giving that information and then flips, oftentimes playing these agents that allows him to be in the front lines, like the Euro or sometimes the Gecko, where he's always in the thick of things. Now, it's going to be very contrasting styles at that point. And then, like you mentioned, Asteroid, the teammates, how much information are they relaying? That's going to be a huge one. For RRQ, my eyes continue to be on Xpharaoh, even more so than Elmimore, on how much information does he get on those lurks. And then on the side of T1, now if Carpe's not the one making the decisions, how often is he feeding that information as the initiator over to Excurate?
The teams are getting ready to go, and I do know, Will, you got to talk to the coaches, asking them what they talk about during these huddle sessions.
You know, I don't buy what they gave me in that answer, because they were all like, well, the huddle is like the most, nonsensical thing. We don't really do anything. And this stage, we're seeing them spend a lot of time in these huddles. So
it looks serious.
I think it's very serious, but one thing a lot of the coaches agreed on is you can actually do some damage during the huddle. So you really want to pick and choose carefully what you say and what you're doing.
All right, let's get into the first series of today. Let's go over to casters Valdez and Achilleos.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, it is now time to dive into the action once again. I'm Achilleos, that's Valdez, and we are getting ready to jump into a very exciting match. T1 struggle streak so far here in stage 1, despite all of the expectations for the squad. RRQ slowly building up to the expectations, but a major change for T1. Enquiries is going to be the IGL here today, not Carpe.
Definitely could help them out, I think, making a big change if things aren't working out. I am always a big fan of. I think kind of just swallowing and waiting and seeing if it's going to help itself is not necessarily the right approach. So hoping that they do kind of change things up as we take a look at these agents here.
And really, it's not too many changes for the side of RRQ. It's more just about who's going to be playing what. So will be Xfaro sticking with the Killjoy. Loved hearing from Ewok there on the desk in the breakdown from William and Asra as well, talking about how it's really nice to see that this is a system and a change that's put in place basically by the players, led by them. Them going to the coaching staff and saying, hey, we think that this is going to work better for us. Can we try this out? And then implementing it and getting it to a very workable position. We were scratching our heads when we first saw it, but I think especially after some of the more recent series, even with Flips not picking up a single kill on that icebox, being able to get the wins, everybody's looking damn comfortable. There's a monstrous performance from the likes of Elmuor as well as Xfaro. Let's see if they can do that again. Let's also see if T1 can find themselves a match victory as we jump into game 1. We are heading to Ascent.
Sen, a pretty fun one to start us off on. Definitely one of the older maps in the pool. A classic. And, I think all these players been around for quite a long time, and I think they'll be able to handle it. Of course, I'm just curious to see mainly if T1 is going to show us what we kind of expected from them, and if RRQ can keep up this great form. Me and William were the only two to actually vote in the predictions for T1. I just felt like, eventually they're going to make a big change, and maybe it would be this opportunity. I think that RRQ has had some stumbles here and there, especially in their first match. But, I don't know. After the beginning of this week, maybe regretting the pred a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see how it does all pan out. And if some of the changes for both squads can work out as a pretty quick gauge through B. Looking to get on top of the site already. Rossi fully flashed, can't do anything.
Yeah, ends up getting taken down. Nice, clean entry there from Jemkin. First blood found plant coming through. Just 20 seconds into the round. Let's see what the setup looks like here. For now, it's just going to be Flipshider sat back. Does have that fragment, but waiting for his moment to strike. It's Carpe as well, assessing. Dart, Shock's ready to go. Sends one to try to clear a little bit on close angle. Recon up over the top to see what he can spot, but Elmuor quick to clear it. Not going to get pinged out.
Flipshider here on the left. He could be really key to see when the timing is.
There's the paranoia. He's going to swing in.
And that is going to be huge. He does get the one and distracts, and he picks up a kill for himself. Very important based on recent timing, but it is going to definitely be a RRQ round. I think the fact that they get onto the site basically for free, and Rossi couldn't stop them while Flash. I mean, the entry was just too clean, right? So a very good start here for RRQ.
Yeah, very solid setup. I mean, Flips just dumping both of those flashes within the first 15 seconds of the round. Comes up with an immense amount of value. I love that. Just backward dash up over the top so that he can avoid getting flashed as well. Lands, finds the kill, and then just running guns with the frenzy. We've been seeing players kind of leaning into these super wide swings when you have a frenzy or a stinger in hand. It also allows you to potentially just get the kill itself. So Jemkin off to a roaring start with 3 limbs in that first round. Well, let's see what happens as we go into the anti-eco here for RRQ.
See a relatively big stack for T1 over towards the B side of the map. Not too surprising, as you can go for that retake on A. But for now, RRQ taking their time as well. They start off the map with a very quick entry, and now they're just taking their time with it, seeing if T1's going to do anything a bit risky. Maybe they get caught out. Trying to do something here in their spot, as it's only Saya player out here in mid, checking for what he can see, but no contact just yet.
Very quiet here. Down to 50 seconds. RQ now going to start inching their way a little bit closer to this A site, but T1, given the weaponry, given that they're not spotting or hearing anything at all, basically just have to stay statuesque in their positions. I realize it's going to be a pretty swift strike once it does start, but there you go. Entry coming through, up on top of Jen for Jemkin.
30 seconds left.
A little bit of util burned here. Still plenty remaining for the post plant as they now get situated. Side player around the back, gonna have to try to clear out this turret. Looks like they're not gonna set it up. Instead, Xfero's just gonna swing back in, takes out side player first, then sets up the turret.
He's like, something is fishy. Maybe if I jump out at exactly this time, I'll find a member of T1, and that he did. And this is pretty much not gonna happen for T1, just trying to get in position to die to the spike.
Yep.
We'll see if Elmimore wants to maybe deny some of that, but
he does only have a ghost, so he can hang around a little bit longer if he wants to try to get some picks, but no, then he's not spotting anything. Looks like he will just opt to go ahead, keep his life intact. And overall, a flawless anti-eco here for the side of RRQ as they start things off 2-0. Very nicely done. I mean, high pace in the pistol round, gets them a clean entry over onto the B site. Very much just grind things to a halt. Not wanting to get picked off, not wanting to have any kind of surprise shots coming through from T1. They take their time, manages to get them the round win.
Yeah, RRQ definitely a team that I think really indexes heavily into strategy, you know, round by round, trying to mix things up, really trying to get into the heads of their opponents, and already seeing little tastes of that. It is still very early, but so far, so good for them. Let's see if they can pick up a bonus here as they are looking to go in. And yeah, Carpe is pretty good with that Odin, and he is going to take one down already.
Yep, a little bit of a different setup there on the angle. Not just going to be playing straight in front of Lobster in quotations. As the drone to search, won't quite spot anything there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, just rotating out of that one is RRQ. Kind of hamstrung now at this point. Nice little push out here from Saya player and his buddy Izu, just trying to get some information. Gonna see Estrella potentially.
It's just around the corner, but as he swings in, yep. Just a bulldog, but also not a fast enough reaction. Taken down by the headshot is thrown there from Elmimore. Checking across in towards short. Double stack in Boathouse, one in alley as well. T1 very much have this site stacked up. Hurt there for contact. As the swing gets ready to come in, Xfero going to be noted, tries to swing in. Rossi this time not getting caught. Gets the catch. Elmimore slinking around the back. Has a judge in hand, but also the sheriff. But is he ready for this? No. Rossi will find that. Pivots back over to switch to take out flips. And just like that, it is a flawless deny on the conversion here as T1 get themselves on board in round 3.
Well, it all starts with the pick in B main, and then after that, it's kind of just one by one. You saw RRQ trying to be very sneaky on the map. Just multiple members trying to sneak into spots, and T1 handled it excellently. Saya player started it off here. A little push himself. Rossi handles this very nicely, sensing the pressure, and then picks up his third right there.
You guys are trash, bro.
Well, it's round 3. Maybe a little bit early, but Rossi feeling it, so you gotta respect the confidence. He has been performing well, you know, despite the misfortunes and the losses for T1. Still has been putting up decent figures, so it looks like he's off to a very solid start.
Yeah, I do feel like, honestly, in Valorant, your confidence level can certainly affect how you play. So even if you're just saying it for yourself or also for your teammates, just to get people hyped and say, no, we're better than these guys. You know, you might not absolutely feel like they're trash, but it's good to say it. And get your team in the right mindset as a double peek here, and Saya player's going to take him out. Estrella all alone once again, not going to win that one.
And just a hair off. I mean, even with the double swing, he likely would have been traded, but there's potential for him to be able to find that, but Flip's now going to be taken down. Pushes way up through Cat. Ends up falling. Spray across. Xfero once again, just taking quite a bit of damage. Saw him knocked down to, I think, about 60 in the last round, now down to 50. Carpe will just, again, double stack in here to boats alongside Excurate. Spraying through. Is Elmimore going to be able to displace both of them, and that just goes ahead and equalizes the player count. 3v3 now as that plant comes in.
Hey, you can see they were just way in the back there. They did not see that one. Saya's just so clean in this round. I mean, every time it's just one-tapping people down. They're going to need him, though, for this retake as Jemkin and Elmimore in a pretty good spot here.
Zuti being across, Rossi now going to be noted. Jemkin having a good idea about where two of them are. Saya noted over in B main as well. It's just about whether or not they can actually stave this off. The rush in, Jemkin going to be able to shut that one down, but now the trade comes in. Elmimore cleaned up. 3 players lost, but still T1 getting to the defuse and tying up the scoreline at 2-2.
Yeah, gonna give that one over to Izu. And very nicely done from the side of T1. Really just starts out with Saya pressuring double peek out of A main. They get that first kill. That's it here. Wasn't even, I mean, it kind of was just Saya by himself. Then he gets this one and picks up a third as well. And eventually he's the first one to go onto the site here, so he does go down, but his teammates easily do clean that up.
I love it, you know, because Saya plays with a platform in front of him, so it kind of looks like he's like a kid at the adults table.
Yeah.
But it actually is just a raised platform that he plays on.
Whatever works. And looks like the operator's going to work for him this time. See how many kills he can pick up in this round with this, as T1 certainly getting back in control of this map with the last couple of round wins.
Very much out wide. Should that swing come in from Jemkin? This could be brutal. Drone up over the top. He's trying to overstay and see if he can find anything at all, but this ends up costing him dearly. Now Rossi is well dead. Jemkin swings out, catches him trying to escape back in the market. This is a big blunder here for T1 off the rip in the round.
Yeah, you know, if you guys were watching the desk, the pre-show, there was a bit of talk, at least a mention about some overheating from the side of Saya player. I think extremely aggressive to go ahead and do that. And it almost looked like RRQ were expecting it, right? They had a nice setup, drone over the top, and immediately the second he's spotted, he's just dead. As
Excurrent is in deep. Needs to be able to get out of this position, and he does take 2 down with him. So solid effort from the new IGL. That is not where you wanted the team be to. Carpe able to get the punish there onto Estrella. Kind of got bogged down. And now things very well can slip out of their hands. Carpe at 71 sends out the dart. Elmimore gets himself across the opposite side. The drone to try to chase. Pulls back into the site itself. Oh, but does Carpe read this? Well, now he hears the tap on the spike, so he knows. Shock dart thrown down. Elmimore taking a little bit of damage, but challenges around the corner, finds the headshot, and manages to bail RRQ out.
So the entry started pretty rough, you know, with Excurrent picking up 2, but then just able to push their way on in. This is the start, by the way. They just get the spot onto Saya. They get the pick on a Rossi. And you're thinking it's all over. It eventually was. Got pretty interesting down in the 1v1, and Elmimore handles this very well.
So I'd have to watch that back again, you know, from the original POV. But I think one of the biggest things that you need, if Saya's going to go on that kind of push, that 0 point from Rossi needs to come out as soon as you hear the initial setup from that drone to go ahead and cancel it. If you're able to do that, Saya can get away with positioning that aggressively. But without that, he just gets tagged and absolutely taken down. Hunter's Fury now out from Elmimore, just fishing to see if he finds any kind of straight connection here. And widely just keeps them pushing into the site. Switch now going to be hit, spray, fruit. It's one shot there on the flips in the leg. Is the null command now going to be infested?
T1 going to be looking to, yeah, that's the end of that drone. Going to be looking to get on in here in the retake. You see Rossi trying to look behind him at tree.
This lurk from Xfero. I mean, they already managed to find one. Carpe just getting taken out by that wall bang through. Off shot from Saya, not going to be able to get the connection. Now Xfero strikes, looking for 3. He's able to find it. Rotate around the back to jump onto the corner, and Saya player cannot line up the shot fast enough. A 4K4 Xfero as RRQ get 4 rounds.
Yeah, and keep in mind, T1 heavily investing in that round as well. Another operator for Saya, and they get flawless on just a clean entry, and look at that. I mean, that's pretty rough for Carpe, and then not checking this angle. Xfero, perfect timing to just get them down, and Saya's like, well, I'm trapped. I might as well just go for it. Yeah, he's got a lot to say about that one, and I would be hyped after that play myself as well.
All right, well, significantly weaker buy, but they do have the Blade Storm behind this, and we know it's Saya, what kind of magic he can work with that. It's already a bit of damage across. Xfero and Elmimore getting tagged up. Lockdown is available should they want to go ahead and invest this.
You should run.
This looks like that is going to be the call.
So let's see how aggressive he decides to get. He is certainly...
He's going to try to give his life for the cause here. Up over the top, does manage to find one. Carpe, at the same time, finishing off Elmimore, so the detain comes in. He's the only one caught by it. Flips recovering fire, able to find Excurate. Carpe now dead, and Side player will be finished off in that detain, leaving now just Rossi and Izu. 2v2, weapon recovered for Izu though.
Yeah. All things considered, not too bad for the side of T1.
Oh,
might be able to get this pick as Izu gonna get the jump on Astrea, and the spike is down. Still a lot of time, but Demkin not gonna be able to win that one. Izu pretty crisp on a couple to give T1 the win, and keep in mind, that was an eco for them. I think they had one stinger.
An effective thrifty for the side of T1, and that is a round that you are going to be frustrated by if you're RRQ. Had the detain, some early damage. I mean, Zaya saying, you know what, I will sacrifice myself to at least try to get a trade. Flips, opens things up really nicely, but it's this misunderstanding about where Izu could be. Not respecting that potential flank through B main, and then just stranding the spike.
Very nice adjustment there at the end as well from Izu. It's a pretty important kill to get to make sure it doesn't go to a 1v1 scenario with the spike available in a lot of time. Here's Saya once again, this time trying to get aggressive with the operator. I guess not just this time, but just in general, Saya things. And he's going to take out the turret.
Clear on the alarm bot. It's just the poking and prodding phase. Both squads trying to take away some of this more stagnant utility from the other side. Make sure they can't be notified. Saya once again going on a bit of a walkabout, playing a fairly narrow angle. Checks over towards the left, nothing spotted. Dash to the ready. Oh, spots one, but Elmimore just continues to swing in. Catches him in the head, right there through the corner. Now flash denied as Rossi does get nullified, and Chemkin will be able to go ahead and take him down. Elmimore at the cost of that entry, but RRQ now with 4 members will be able to get the plant, and I think overall T1, Carpe and Excurate left alive are going to have to just call for a save.
Yeah, they're just running the opposite way. Just, you know, we did have maybe a little bit of a fight here, actually, as Xfero thinking about maybe trying to take them out, but yeah, certainly the fact that Saya is just going to be caught out essentially for free, and then the entry is so quick from the side of RRQ. Didn't really leave T1 with many options. As we did, I think it was Rossi not able to throw a flash out either, just gets daggered and does get the 1 kill, but then it was kind of just an easy cleanup for RRQ, leading to a pretty free round here.
Yeah, I mean, Xfero's still hunting, and he will get taken down, and this is about the worst case scenario. I was going to say, I honestly wouldn't mind them just sitting back and allowing these 2 players to stay alive, crucially because Excurate was just 1 charge away from having the lockdown. Now he has that online going into the next round. Would have gotten it, you know, if he had been killed. That would have cost him his weapon, but he would still gain that very crucial ultimate. But now he has the Vandal and the lockdown going into this one as a timeout, I believe, is getting called.
And you see how this one goes down. Oh, they just kind of line up for it, and slight adjustment for Jemkin to finish off that 3rd member. And it is a timeout from the side of T1. All things considered, I mean, still kind of close in terms of 5v3 and round score, but for me, outside of that one kind of mix-up with the near thrifty from T1, I think RRQ is mostly in control of this map so far.
Yeah, it's been overall, you know, at times a little bit scrappy. There is certainly some bite behind the bark here from T1 today. But starting off on the defender side, you want to be able to rack up several more rounds. See how they fare as we get ready to go back into this one. But for now, quick interjection from Coach Autumn to pump the brakes.
What would you say, Kilios, if you were the coach in that moment?
I mean, given his success rate after timeouts and just the overall performances of the team, I would probably take a leaf out of Alex's book and just say, turn your brains off and shoot a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
I don't want you to think, I just want you to play.
Yeah. I do think that the shots have been fine. I think that they have kind of been caught with their pants down a couple too many times. Although sometimes the aggressive plays from guys like Saya have kind of given them the advantage as well, especially out of that A main we have seen a couple of times. But outside of that, it's been mostly just him getting punished. And he's going to pick up a Vandal this time around. Might still look to get aggressive, but RQ all here going down the catwalk.
Saya again wanting to go for this peak, but they're inside the smoke now here on Cat. Double stack on the opposite side. Side player able to find one. Now the smoke dissipates. They both strike a 2 for 2
bersatu,
overall.
nice.
Elmi more down to 60. Dash forward, trying to get themselves into the site, and Carpe just not ready for it. Jemkin just dashes in and instantly taps him.
Yeah, you could tell that Carpe was like, wait, what? What? Like, it just seemed like the communication failing, or they didn't quite spot them getting in onto the site, and now it's going to be up to Saya next gear to try to retake this one.
Spots him. Jemkin just pivoting back, not allowing him to get the re-peek lineup. Swing in. They're both lined up now, though. Saya takes him down. Doesn't even take any damage for his troubles, and Execute will find Estrella. What a turnaround here. From a surefire win for T1 to, or for RRQ into a T1 victory here with this diffuse. Saya player breaks it down.
I mean, Coach Achilles, you were kind of right. They turned their brains off, but they hit their shots at the end of the day. Very nice angle from Saya, and then he picks up 3. Execute does finish it off at the end.
Yeah, and that's a relieving sight there for Autumn.
Yeah, they're happy, but they don't look too satisfied just yet. Still a close map, still a lot of pressure.
I didn't realize Estrella was IGLing today. 0, 5, and 3.
Well, sometimes that's the way it goes. We've all been there.
He's done some side calling, but
yeah.
Now fairly heavy stack outside of the A site here for RRQ. Still money, so still can get the purchase, but not able to get that dash off in time. Jemkin's entry getting disrupted. Very nice 0 point there from Rossi as Hunter's Fury now coming through from Carpe. But he tucked back over towards Wine, and Eggs not quite going to be found, but Rossi just reading the timing, feeling like, okay, Hunter's Fury probably pushed them back. They're going to try to get themselves back over in towards A main and away from this archway. It just reads it to absolute perfection.
Yeah, I mean, the timing of that was almost as if he had vision. I mean, it was incredible how he does line that one up. Saya does get punished in mid, though. And now RRQ may be looking to regroup this direction. Carpe's got a set up here towards Tree, but it does look like they could be heading towards B at this point in time, as it is only Execute, of course, on the Killjoy over on this site. Maybe going to look into Pizza, see what they can see. And they're not going to see anything, as T1 at the moment are just playing the sites. And we do have set up here. Carpe's just lining him up, picks up 2 for the 1. Elmi Moore finally does take him down.
They need to try to get it quickly, but as they make the attempt, he's doing Rossi one more apiece to go ahead and close things out. That now T1 tying it up at 5-5. Timeout working wonders here for the squad. Still a bit of cash, though, to work through, but winning this round, that'll break things down even further for the side of RRQ. As, I mean, this is what really just dumped up the works. All 3 players getting caught by that 0 point. Jemkin can't go for the entry. He can't try to create space, and then they just end up losing flips to that very nicely timed spray from Rossi.
I wonder what Rossi had to say after that one. I mean, he's feeling pretty good. I'm sure he's got the most kills on the team. Is now, trying to look for someone here as the quickly getting in on the site, but this entry not quite as clean as the first one, and now the rest of the team is going to follow up. But Rossi, here with a nice flash, kind of flashes himself at the side there, and Elmi Moore will take him down.
Yeah, this one, it's far too chaotic here for Saya player to try to line up any of those shots with the operator. Drone now up over the top, spots one in market, Execute now noted, and now taking down Elmi Moore. Making the best
Di-wallbang mahagay kami.
Carpe with a reveal of his own is able to find one, swings on the corner, can't quite line up the other. So RQ, they lose a couple rounds in a row. They say, right, let's just up the pressure. They storm their way into the A site. Is it clean? Absolutely not. Is it entertaining? You're damn right. They get themselves a round win and now up to 6.5.
It's clean as long as you get the round win. That's what I always say.
Oh yeah, I mean, we heard it from Ewok himself, you know, in regards to Flips having 0 kills on that last Icebox. He's like, I don't care as long as we're winning. Like, his calling is going well. I don't care about individual performance. Scoreboard doesn't matter.
Just win the rounds. Jemkin goes and dies, you know, kind of messing up some of the utility from the other members. Doesn't matter. Just get in, win the rounds, get aggressive. It has been working, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't send it again.
Getting out of my way.
Maybe trying to peek, maybe trying to find Saya if he were to peek out of A main once again. This time, just peeking out of B main. He might be the first person to contact if RRQ do commit to this push towards B.
They open things up with that null command. Be curious to see if Saya actually tries to stand his ground. He won't have the exit.
Cara kabur nih orang, Cok.
Oh boy.
Just around the corner. Do they read this? Oh, the flash. They swing in a little bit too late. Now Rossi here in main, able to put 2 down on the ground. Jump dead. Rossi with an effective third. Is that a res? Quick tap on it around the corner, but they need to try to fight their way out of this one. Estrella will be able to find the headshot.
Let's go,
Shutting down Rossi here for the moment. Paranoia across, swings out, but will end up falling. And that is 6-6 here on the half. As, yeah, well, he finally used the lockdown after the half was over, but wasn't fully necessary.
Might as well, I guess. Yeah, very close map so far, 6-6. Very back and forth. Feels like T1 kind of getting back on the horse, calling the timeout at 5-3 deficit, and picking up 3 out of the last 4 to get it to even. Certainly kind of calming things down, not getting as crazy with the peaks, and just holding some angles, and it worked out. RRQ did get that one aggressive round, but outside of that, feels like we have a pretty close, we've got a pretty cute friend with this stuffed animal there on the desk. But yeah, pretty close map in this one. And I suppose our T1 predictions not too off the wall after all.
To be fair, I would consider you as the lone T1 predictor. Williams is not fully because he believes in T1. It's more because every time he predicts for RRQ, he curses them and he loves them more than just about anything.
Still counts as a pred. Whatever the reason, he did put it on T1.
We'll see if you guys are rewarded for that. As Rossi, a hell of a performance so far, leading in kills here in the lobby at this moment. Now we switch sides, RQ over to the defense. T1 though, heavy stack, full 5 members over in B lobby.
Might try to give them a taste of their own medicine. You remember round 1, we saw RRQ coming in, just pressing W, just going right over the top into B.
I mean, they look like they're just got a Paranoia off the rip, probably a dash up over the top, maybe off the back of this one.
Dia mau one way, Cok.
See if Estrella's going to be able to try to get away from this one as Paranoia does connect. He's going to be held by that 0 point, but Shock Dart lobbed in, looking for some damage, but Rossi already able to find the opening kill as Jimkin falls. Now Saya getting Elmi more as well. Estrella spotted, noted here in boats, flash straight into his face, still comes away with 1 while being full flashed, but ultimately it's just flip shutter by himself.
Yeah,
Bisa banget.
Gonna be a nice entry here from the set at T1 as he can't quite land those shots. He had so many opportunities, and Saya will pick up a third. So T1 right on the board here from the attacker side, and that is going to be fantastic. Trying to get some momentum for yourself in the second half on RRQ's map pick. And once again, just we did have you know, the one man here on the site surviving for a decent amount of time, but wasn't quite enough as the entry came swiftly in onto B.
7-6, T1 tying up the pistol round count.
Bani, game-nya itu aja.
Decent investment here. Everybody with
Bingung dia ya.
an odd pistol in their hands.
Enggak kepala anjing deh.
2 Spectres, Bulldog, a Phantom, and then Saya player with the signature Marshall coming through. Only Elmimore really investing much of anything as he goes for that Sheriff, something that made him known. Performance with those Sheriffs in hand.
Oh yeah.
Thrown forward, does manage to tag him up though. And Saya wanting to take a peek in towards heaven, spots the shoulder, and Estrella not swinging wide enough to identify Saya player, does end up falling down.
Yeah, gonna be a pretty tough ask here for the side of RRQ. Let's see how they want to do this. Maybe just straight up through the door. As Execurant is here, just spraying him down. Even Flash did not matter. Izu up top as well. And that's going to be the end of Elmimore on top of it. So 8-6. T1 in control at the moment. And yeah, I mean, just pretty straight up stuff. Kind of reminds me of the way that RRQ played it from the attacker side at the beginning of the map. Go B one time really quick, go A a little bit slower, and then eventually just execute onto the site.
It's never quite far enough out to be able to spot him. I mean, you know, you have a weapon advantage. You know that you're pretty screwed in that position. You might as well just hold your ground, hold down M1. Execurant rewarded for that as
M1.
Mouse 1.
You don't call it left click?
Left click, whatever.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say M1.
Well, you have now.
Yeah.
Execure not opting to spend too much, wants to have his economy relatively in sync here with the rest of the squad. Thought maybe we would see Carpe or
Ngantuk ko bangke.
fly up the
Ya
Terraform,
ampun.
but Flips and Estrella trying to make something happen here outside of A, and they just end up getting gunned down. Izu coming up huge.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, and it's going to be a couple of upgrades as well for T1. So they just get onto the site for free, and RRQ are just running away. That is not the round you want to see if you're RRQ. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a timeout called either now or on the next round, because that one was, they got kind of mowed down in A main, and now the round is just over.
I've already written down on my sheet that they called a timeout because I feel very confident that that is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they have 2 left, so.
And having the bonus conversion here for T1 on this attacker side, that is a dangerous spot to be in for RRQ. And you can see T1, they're fanning out. They want to be able to take away these weapons. They haven't suffered too many losses in these opening rounds, so no one is particularly close to building up their ultimates. So if they can get rid of some of these weapons, that would be a major boon. And
Oh, no.
boy,
Oh,
Saya spotting up more. The gun barrel giving things away. Xfero will be able to take him out. Keeps his own weapon in his hands, but that is a brutal way to lose out on an additional rifle right at the end of the round. And as we see the clock stopped, timeout confirmed. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah, it almost was like T1 got in there before RRQ realized. Even though there was the one guy in wine, they just didn't see them walking in. And then, obviously, they were a bit caught off guard. And then Izu's just able to spray them down. I think he's the one that confirmed the kills, but he had a couple of his teammates shooting as well. And it was almost like they just got caught off guard. And it was a free entry into A with that overcommittal from RRQ, and then it was just over, as we saw. So, easy time to call a timeout. And I'm not a coach. I'm not sure what I would say in this one.
Need to be able to clear the heads of the players, focus back in on this, identify where things are going wrong, what the misreads are, what the tendencies are of T1, at least the ones that they've been showing thus far on this attack side. Try to shore up those weaknesses,
T1 3 game lagi.
whatever gaps you might be having here in the first 3. See,
6.
Ewok's intervention is going to be good enough for RQ to stop this now effective 4-round win streak across both halves for T1. Still, I mean, they have a Spectre in hand. It's like, well, I haven't had to really get rid of this, so I'll just keep using it.
Saving up that money for the latter half of this second half. Let's see what this is going to look like for the side of RRQ. They have 3 guys in mid and around Pizza at the moment, so that's not the way you want it to go.
Rossi also gets Elmore. Just threw the smoke, and I just, whatever could have, okay, whatever was discussed. Might not matter too much anymore as Flips swings in, the paranoia hits him. What an effort for him, though. Be able to find those 2 kills, but.
Yeah, he looked angry, and, you know, not going to get the ace. That's almost worse than the round we saw last time. I mean, 3 people in mid, you get scouted, nobody hits the target, and everybody just gets sprayed down, as there was no escape for those 3 members, and it was an easy cleanup. T1 kind of reading the situation very well as well. As you'll see, the dart comes in, and it double bounces, and they just don't, they can't clear it in time.
It seems like they just were not prepared for where that one was going to end up. I mean, you know, again, solid effort from Flips to be able to look like maybe that was going to be turnable, but put it on his best fishy chair impersonation with that Guardian in hand.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Carpe, very nice angle, I guess, on the dart, but you got to be ready for those. As now here comes T1. Once again, slow push onto A.
Being coming down, expecting that recon at any moment, but they're just holding this, and this means that because they're just creeping forward, they have no idea that they're in the sun. I mean, look at Estrella. He has no idea whatsoever. Chimkin now overwhelmed, swarmed, ends up falling, and T1, what a call, what a read. They say, okay, you know what, let's just enter with no util. And now the cleanup continues, and T1 are running away with this half. This is domination, and whoever it was, I assume that, you know, it was probably Xcurate. I'll give him the credit, given that it's his first day IGLing for the team, to just not send the recon. Let's just walk into sight. There's nothing set up here to play contact for them. There's no alarm bot, there's no turret. Let's just get into the site, don't send anything, and peek some corners that they're likely hiding behind.
Might as well throw another timeout at this point, but you know, if the last one didn't work and the last 2 rounds looked like that, I don't know if this is going to help, but you got to try. I mean, it's kind of funny too, because you would imagine the mind games, right? They kind of got screwed by a recon turret in the round right before. So they're like, okay, let's be really ready. Let's be ultra focused to see if a dart comes in. And then you just don't send it, right? You just walk at them. It's total mind game domination from the side of T1. And I don't know what's gotten into them, but they look pretty incredible in the second half, and RRQ have had 0 answers.
It's just insane. Just make the call. Let's just donk walk into a site, and everything will go well.
It was
RRQ
very
now,
unexpected, to say the least.
yeah, and I mean, now this is so many things that RRQ need to be cognizant of, and they need to try to, you know, expect and predict which thing T1 is going to try to do. Are they going to play default? Are they going to play contact? Are they going to send out this util and try to find picks through wall bangs? Are they going to just walk in? There's a multitude of options.
Yeah. Or are they just going to walk at us? Not something you generally have to be careful for, as same dart comes through, but nobody on the side of RRQ is there, as they're just going to play it a bit more passively this time around.
Yep, very quietly done here from T1.
Right here.
0 point, not noting anything there. So making a little bit of noise. A couple pings will come down into mid.
Yeah, really it's just Jemkin who is watching this angle, if anyone is going to go through market. We've seen Saya just try to lurk forward, bit by bit, trying to creep forward before. But for now, just keeping it very quiet.
0 point, scouting 1 up close. Sparrow still, okay, standing his ground for the moment. Continues to want to try to fight this one. So we'll just be backing away here to Lumber, but looks like they're decently aware of that. Execute was considering sending the Nano over to that position for the brief little moment. Flash out full, blind as Sparrow swing out.
Oh my god.
Just full whips across the board as 4 players disappear. T1 just Thanos snapping them out of existence, as suddenly it is only Estrella left. Zaya pushing, prodding, taking him down. A team ace as T1 get themselves up to map point.
T1 kind of just dunking on him now. They play it quietly, and then they go for a very clean push. And RRQ was ready. They had 4 people there. They were ready for the push, and it didn't matter as the ult came forward from Rossi, and they were just not able to stop it. 1 flash through, and this is where it all went wrong. Just, you know, spotting 1 by 1 the members. Really nice flash to come through on the entry from T1.
Oh my.
Kind of saying the same thing that I was. There's not really much else to say about it. It's just domination at this point.
Yeah, they are absolutely feeling it here. Not dropping a single round here in this half. T1 looking to just get the streak all the way across up to 13 and move on to their own map pick of Lotus. Which has been very consistent for them. There's some shots exchanged there. Chimkin taking 1 on the shoulder. Sparrow trying to maintain control of mid, but it doesn't have the alarm bot here to play off of. Turret still on cooldown. Null Command invested. Going across as here's the push now into the B side. Elmore here. Guardian in hands, able to find 1. Can't quite get the second. Sparrow trying to get the drag across, but Rossi again! Another 3K. What is it? The 3rd, the 4th one. Jemkin will be able to find Carpe. They now bring it into a 2v3. Rossi down low on HP. A fragment, a flash. All that Flips has to work with.
Oh, if he just clicks. Just kind of staring each other down through the smoke.
Smoke about to dissipate.
They know they're coming from that direction as well. Enquiries playing this angle very, very nicely.
They are blinded. Izu sets it up for him. Swing onto the corner. The kills come through, and T1 have an absolute perfect run in the second half of the map. 13-6. They take down RRQ, and RRQ's map pick of Ascent.
Yeah, T1 looking like a different team today. This is kind of what we expected from the beginning of the split. And it looks like finally in the second half of this map, they were able to show up in a big way. RRQ can't quite say the same. They're going to have to come back on Lotus and try to take T1's map pick, but it's not going to be easy. As we are done here on the casting desk, let's go over to the analysts to break that one down.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. If there were any T1 doubters for a second, T1 is here to prove you wrong. They take RRQ's map pick Ascent away from them after a string of losses previously.
I mean, you say, were there any? But I'm like surrounded by T1 doubters out here, right on here on the desk, over on the casting desk.
Like, okay.
It's crazy. How could you lose faith? No, are you serious? Did you just see what happened? Why are you laughing at me? I don't understand. I don't. But here's the thing: is that whether you had faith or not, you did not expect them to get all the rounds in the second half, right? Like 7 in a row in the second half, 8 if you count the last round of the first half. I mean, Valdez said it. They look like an absolutely different team today.
Yeah, and maybe we could akin it to, it's going to be Xcurate now that's holding all the calls. It feels like there's a lot more proactiveness as an entire team. I mentioned how Saya player was one that would love to go for those aggressive peaks, but now he's getting refragged quite quickly here by the rest of T1, which is a different step from what we saw in the previous series.
Yeah, I mean, the only times that Saya kind of, I guess, got caught, we should say, is when there was a very deliberate trap set up by RRQ. A lot of the other times, T1 knew exactly what they were going for. There was always someone paired with them when he was pushing out on the defense. And then on the attack, T1, they moved as a unit around that map. No one was really separated from the pack unless there was a very clear intention to do so. So you have to credit Xcurate a little bit, right? Obviously, we can't ever read into the IGL link, but you give a little credit. But on top of it, Rossi, I mean, talk whatever you want on those comms, man, because he was fragging out today.
I just wanted to add that it did feel that in response, RRQ felt like, I don't know, it just seems like they couldn't really figure out where the push was gonna be coming from, right? It's always, we'll stack on this angle right here, we peek out, there's like 3 players of T1 prepared for us, we're gonna stack on mid, see how that goes, and there's like a recon dart, a KO blade that clears us up, and then it kept happening over and over again. The punishes from T1 just felt like RRQ was what's the word here? Just felt like they were drowning in pressure.
Sure, yeah, and I think part of it was that it started off really well on the pistol for RRQ, and then once perhaps what RRQ prepared started to get red a little bit, they couldn't adapt fast enough within the game. And that's what we're seeing here in Pacific, is that the real divider between the top teams that are most likely making it to playoffs and maybe even Master Shanghai, and then the rest is you can all come with great plans, but when that gets broken down, how do you adapt to it? RRQ seemed to still be so focused on what they prepped, their own game plan, that they couldn't adjust to some of these positions that Rossi was taking, that Xcurate was taking, and then the fact that Saya always had someone to trade for him. The weaknesses that T1 used to have, they weren't there today, so RRQ had to figure out in the game.
100%. I think that sums it up really nicely. It looks like a completely different T1 playing today than the last 2-3 games. They changed up their tempo. They look more confident. They definitely adjusted something over the past couple of days, and maybe it's, maybe it is the change of the IGL, but whatever it is, even that representative change of the IGL, they're trying to do something different.
Yeah. Again, obviously, we don't know the exact comms, but one thing's for sure is that the comms are clear. I think that's what we can all agree on, no matter who's making the final decisions, et cetera, et cetera. Like Rossi, setups for Saya are so much better. Izu is not getting caught out as much, and I think that spells a lot of trouble for RRQ, because now you're going onto a map of Lotus that T1's originally already comfortable on.
Yeah, and it's not just the comms as well. I think one of the talking points I had for T1 here is there are some agent compositions on certain maps that they play where they look very lost, if not uncomfortable on. But now you're looking at Xcurate, who we know is a great chamber player, but he doesn't really do well with the more passive sentinels. He's getting, that good hold. He doesn't have to be explosive, but he's not really faltering when RRQ creates their play wherever he's at. So these kind of nuances right now for T1 really helping out to kind of even out the team that we were hoping to, perform like this at the get-go of stage 1.
Yeah, and the big thing here is going to be that chamber, right, for Excurate. What does RRQ have prepared to combat it? Now, when they were playing in their previous matchup, I think what RRQ showed is that they're very prepared to battle against an operator. They know how to take it out, and Xfero seems to be very comfortable picking up his own op as well to go into those duels. But how do you reset from a map like that where it started off so good? You got 6 rounds, you know, on the attack. You're feeling okay going into the half, and then, bam, you don't win a single round to get your morale back up. That's tough.
Oh, that is really tough. And especially when you end like that for RRQ going into Lotus, like you guys mentioned, we know that T1 is pretty damn good on Lotus. And if they carry on this sort of energy going back into Lotus, even when they're shaky, they still do well. So if they're like this, you can imagine it might possibly be devastating. With that, I do have a question about Lotus, and it will affect our ranks.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yes.
This is what I prepared for all my life.
And he's not even kidding. Will was boasting how he had stayed up all night prepping for this very question. We shouldn't give these questions ahead of time. So it seems like the viewers have voted for T1 here at 76%.
Okay. All right, viewers.
Who will win the last round of the first half?
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
take.
no, you can't cheat like that. Take it away my stats.
I only got one,
No,
and I
I'm
didn't see
sticking
what
to
he.
my original vote.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Ah.
Okay.
All right. I hope this isn't silver
Okay.
for me.
Well,
But you know what? The viewers, you're with me. The viewers, you guys are a wingman
you're
on the board.
always with Victoria. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? We're together. I
know
like
what?
that.
That's
I'll be
actually-
True
I'll be the
wingman.
gecko to your
Yeah.
wingman.
Nice.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, okay, we're talking about T1 being dominant on Lotus, but you think RRQ will win the last round? Is this because they know they need to get that last push to get the last round, or is there like real logic behind this?
I mean, my logic's pretty simple. I just feel like there are so many explosive players right now on RRQ that it could always happen. That's just as simple as that for me.
Okay. For me, RRQ has almost always won the last round of the half in all the maps they've played so far here at VCT Pacific. On top of that, they're on attack. So I think they will always have a better chance of having some last, like whether it's ults or util, etc., where they... Are you changing your answer?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I did yesterday. I think I did the other
Yeah,
day.
I think you did once, yeah. But yeah, that's
Those
just the thing.
analysts were more friendly about sharing their answers. Just saying. But okay, I'll stick to my T1 answer with the audience because I got to stick to Wingman.
The thing is when I was watching that Ascent, though, already in my head, I was like, I don't know. I might have to vote T1 on this because they're looking so hot right now.
Yeah.
The thing is, RRQ, they've had a match where they got bodied by Team Secret, right? 13-6. So they're not unfamiliar to being bodied by a team. So they can get that bounce back. So, just saying.
All right.
Can you
It's
tell-
the analysts versus the people, including Victoria.
How far back did you actually look into the
Just
data?
stage one. Just
Oh,
stage
just
one.
stage one.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, kickoff was a different team. Just
Okay.
stage one. Yeah. No.
Okay.
No, I'm not that crazy. I'm not that crazy.
But you are sometimes. So it was well within the realm of reality. He looks back through all their data through individual players.
That is fair.
All right, we are going to go into Lotus now. How are you guys, aside from T1's dominance on Lotus, how are you feeling about RRQ and how are they going to be approaching it this time?
I mean, you look at how they started off that Ascent. I think they're still going to have, something prepped here to kick themselves back into gear. So I think you shouldn't be too worried. And again, the composition, the way they were playing the Lotus the last time earlier this weekend, I think they're prepped for this. It's just a matter of can they also warm up on stage? Because clearly T1 has already gone through all of that.
Yeah. Again, there's just so many things where talk about how Lotus can be such a fickly map if you're not prepared for it. One of those is just how you can control, again, those those link rotations. I've been kind of talking about this over and over again, but Elmimore, he's been pretty good at actually creating those openings with how masterful he has been on that Prowler play.
Yeah, and on top of that, I also just want to know with the Chamber, what RQ was doing last time as well is that they're very focused on battling for Mound first rather than Rubble. They're happy to retake that with their utility after everything's been spent by their opponents. So I'm curious if T1 has a read on this on the defending side.
That's exactly right here. RRQ does need to figure something out to do something about Excurate's Chamber in particular, who really likes to push the boundaries there and go far out. He's very aggressive, even on the defense. And if they don't have him figure it out, this could be a 2-0.
I mean, our
But do you think it's going to be a 2-0? Asterai, you voted for RRQ as your prediction?
Of course, it's gonna be a reverse sweep.
yeah,
Look at you laugh nervously. Come on, give us,
He's like, ha ha.
give us the argument for RRQ. What is it?
Well, my argument is, again, I just trust in Jemkin. So, Jemkin, crown yourself king here.
The Jemkin god. All right, Gem King. Let's go over to our casters, Achilleos and Valdez.
Thank you very much. Yes, let's get into the action once more. Lotus, T1's map pick, and one that has been, it's pretty much all reliable for them. You know, this has been the most comfortable map for them across the board. I believe just a singular loss so far on this map. So let's see. RRQ, they have plenty of tape to study for this, knowing the tendencies of T1, but can they counteract it? It's going to be the big question, because they thought they had a pretty good read about Ascent, and obviously that did not go their way.
Yeah, I do wonder and worry a little bit for RRQ, right, coming into map number 2, because sometimes if it's very one-sided, you can kind of just brush it off and say, okay, let's reset, but things were going really well, at least decently well, half and half for the first half, and then it was like they just kind of fell apart, so it's going to take a lot, I think, mentally to just kind of forget that that happened and try to pull off the reverse sweep. So the beginning of this map especially, I think, is going to be very important mentally for the side of RRQ. They do get to start here on the attacker side, and already, Sphero going to get them on the board.
Solid opener there, putting that Sheriff to good use. Jump peek there from Rossi, spotting quite a bit. Takes a tag, but is able to back away over towards the A side. But for now, he is going to be operating all on his lonesome. And with the information gained, okay, X-Ray will be able to find one. Xfero trying to re-lurk back in towards B, but I think statuesque there is Excurate, able to find that kill, but now creeping up into the smoke. Rossi pops the poison or the poison orb gets popped. He tucks away back in towards stairs.
Yeah, he gets a lot of information. Excurate not quite able to land that one. Schneider does get out of there, so spike planted. And they should have known this was coming for a bit. We do see the rotation already coming in from the side of T1. Saya and Izu coming in from the back, but still not going to be an easy retake here.
Time going to be ticking. So we look for an entryway into this one. Paranoia getting a decent catch, but they can't quite swing the corners fast enough before that blind does expire. Excurate and Rossi able to find one apiece here. As they get themselves over towards the spike. Jemkin on the drop down, looking for the spray through, has to push forward. That's going to be the diffuser, now taking down Izu, right back over onto it. It's held to half. Oh, Rossi staves off Estrella. Somehow, some way, T1 turn this round on its head and get themselves another pistol win.
Yeah, extremely confident retake there, just all running in through tree, throw down a bunch of smokes and a bunch of paranoias. The Omen obviously having a really good effect on this one. Starts off with Execute, able to tie up in terms of the member, but then this push on in and just making it really hectic. They get the half defuse and then Rossi able to defend. Of course, that's just a big nice coming out. And T1, you know, they continue their streak. Technically, they had, what was it, 8 in a row at the end of the last map, and now that's going to be 9. As, let's see how this is going to go.
Quick back away there from Izu, double TP out. A smattering of damage down on the Jemkin. Took a hell of a lot more in reply. So 13 health remaining here for the Omen, as he's currently occupying B by himself. Quick rendezvous back over into Waterfall. Excurate moves over to try to reinforce his position. Paint shells, well, Jemkin's able to find it with the classic. The paint shells would have done the job all the same. So elimination found, sight broken open, but a triple push now coming from Mount is, well, yeah, Xparrow now spotting this one out. Everyone needs to get tucked away. So he's not going to be able to find anything here. Estrella out wide, does get taken down, flips dead moments before. As the turret there, tension pulled.
One enemy remaining.
As this is falling apart, Elmimore now the last man standing. Can't quite line up the headshot there. So a bit of damage dealt. Spike planted, overall not too bad of an eco attempt here for RRQ, but T1 will be moving up 2-0.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they get on over pretty relatively easy retake to get on in there against, you see they weren't quite able to pick up the Spectre from the dead Izu. So that kind of made things more difficult on the defense of the retake. Carpe starts it off very nicely with that long-range Bulldog shot. They know exactly where the Killjoy is. They take out Xfero and then pretty easy follow-up there.
Okay, don't hesitate. Let's go.
Okay, don't hesitate.
That's that's the Alex mentality right there coming through.
Byron nih.
Maybe I'll have him
Udah pakai
telling
apa
them.
itu Kevin?
Let's play confidently.
Just send it.
Run in. Just gonna send it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the mentality you need. Don't overthink it. And so far, it's 10 rounds in a row. Of course, including last map. RRQ going to come in here pretty quickly, but Xgrid already has an operator.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to come as a surprise to anybody at all. He will buy in for this no matter what. Will get the mark there onto Xfero. He's able to back away towards A main. Smoke now going to be thrown down to try to peel some of that pressure off. Alarm bot slapped in as well as Rossi. He's going to be waiting for the rest of the team to start arriving, not wanting to reveal his position. Swing out, and Elmimore actually does take him down. Top rope. Xgrid still hunting. Izu going to be noted behind, only has a Sheriff, and Saya player had to have been looking at the minimap. Completely distracted, not reacting fast enough, ends up getting taken down, and that should be the call to save whatever weapons they possibly can. Izu, though, in a bad spot with just the Sheriff. Well, he's likely going to have to try to push in and take somebody down.
Yeah, he's the one guy. The other two already gone. Let's see if he gets the jump onto Xfero or Flipshider. They seem to have a good idea that he is here as well. And
swing and a death here in a brief little moment as needs to face out. Needs to get that death bonus and eventually will, but it's going to be a flawless here for RRQ to deny a bonus conversion. So overall, solid anti-bonus round for them. Still going to be half shields across the board, so they're going to be slightly vulnerable, but I think a nice reply and a little bit of luck as well with Saya player not quite glancing at his crosshair in that moment. Had he been able to get that kill, things are opened up a lot more for a potential retake.
Yeah, pretty quick to go up the rope, I guess. If we can give him the benefit of the doubt. Pick up that kill. Is now looking to challenge outside of Rubble. As already Estrella is going to be taken down. Saya is not going to delay at all. Knows that Jemkin is there as well. And will be carpet to take him down. That's 3 for 0 in favor of T1.
I mean, the call was don't hesitate. They absolutely do not. They absolutely run them down here in this round, not allowing for RRQ to string two together. A monstrous and quite dominant performance there. Side player clearly unhappy with getting picked off by Elmimore in that previous round. Just goes absolutely crazy on them. There's on swing forward, just snappy second shot onto Elmimore to get some revenge.
Nice, guys.
Nice, guys.
Nice, guys.
Nice, guys. That's a good movie.
It is. And, so far, their play has been quite nice. RRQ, they got the one round, but as you mentioned, it really stifled any hope of...
Oh, boy.
Well, getting any momentum as Izu going to pick up one Xgrid as well, getting out there, and the showstopper doesn't seem to get any value, but still going to be advantage T1 here as this plant is going to come down onto the A site.
Sometimes you don't need that showstopper to find the kill. It's all about just ushering the players into a position that you want them to be in where they don't want to be. A player, the sheepdog running at him. They scramble back into the pen.
Bork, bork.
More pushing the smoke. Does get a timing. Looks for a little bit more. But bit off. He puts Izu down to 30. Cannot confirm the kill. The time ticking. T1 need to get themselves into the site here. Very soon. There's the slide down Estrella. He lands in onto the snake bite. Nextrit is able to collect that kill. As swing around the back, Xgrid finishing him off with the class. It's going to be just enough time to be able to get that defuse through here by Rossi. T1 now 4-1.
The timing for Estrella is so unfortunate, and that just allows Xgrid to get way too much value in this round. It's getting pretty hectic there. So Xgrid as well, very nicely done. This push out from the side of Elmimore was pretty nice, but after that, it was all T1. Xgrid picks up 3 on the round, 2 on the site, 1 with the initial op shot. And that will be a pretty early timeout, but at 4-1 and things continuing to slip away from RRQ, I don't blame them.
Not a good feeling though, they have to call this. Couple rounds just very much getting away from them, but also not quite being prepared for a lot of the aggression that we're seeing from T1 out of this defender side. And one of the things that we were seeing from Zeta, when they played against Team Secret, was just the all-out aggression. It was something that Secret was not ready for. Jesse just, consistently getting caught with util at hands, not being ready for that pace and that timing that was coming in. And right now, RRQ suffering a very similar fate from the attacker side.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure something out. Maybe just mess with different timings. Maybe they try to get aggressive themselves. And I don't know. They need to change something here because so far it is still one round in the last 15 or 13. But still, quite a lot. And looks like T1 once again going to look to get aggressive at Rubble. Not no reason for them to really change up their strategy, right? Just continue being aggressive, getting in their face, and trying to keep the pressure down. As meanwhile, on the opposite side, trying to push into Mound. This actually worked on their eco round, do you remember? They were able to get in onto C. Didn't win the round, but one of the better looking ones for RRQ.
Shells checking bend. Izu just sat here within the smoke. Do they suss this out? Looks like they're certainly cautious of this, but have on the spike to swing out. Oh, too many targets. Izu splits his attention.
Spike planted.
End up getting taken down as tap onto the door. TPOA, Experiment second off being able to get the jump there. Flip Shadow going to be taken out though. A Saya player does take him down. Coming through it. Carpe finding the pick. Push forward there. I'm trying to lead the charge. Elmi Moore, the great fadeaway shot there on a side player. Gets himself a third, and Rossi now needs to back out. Sees a tiny little corner that he can tuck into. Right back into the site quickly, but with the time ticking as low as it is, have to kill both of them here. Head down, himself in, going for it, but yeah, Elmi Moore eventually will be able to get the wallbang headshot for a 4K in the round, and RQ. The timeout, it does work and treat for them, still losing out on multiple members, but they managed to not let T1 stretch the lead even further.
I like the decision to go in from Mount into C. It was a way they were able to get a pretty nice setup, and see, they're getting excited now. From the side of Elmi Moore, picks up the 4, as you mentioned. He really did a great job of holding down the site from outside from the Mount. And even with Saya player, and I think Carpe trying to get out there and clean that out, was not able to do so against Elmi Moore. And no surprise, I think they're just going to send him once again into this area of the map.
Very rough position. Just has to hold his ground as the Prowlers continue to check, and Saya finds one. Izu, in the meantime, just pushing out alongside Excurit. Picks off Xfero. 3 players now left alive for RRQ as they will be able to get themselves onto the C site, but they're going to use the Nightfall off the rip before the planters even come in. They spot absolutely nothing, so they can take some forward space up through Waterfall across to this C link. Can they deal with this massive approach that's getting ready to come through from Mound? Boombot cleared. No audio here for Elmi Moore. Just pulls back over towards the bend. Rossi in the meantime, potential to strike as he's his way forward. Right now, backs are turned. Elmi Moore able to come away with 2, but now Showstopper from Jemkin to try to further slow things up. Gets the spot, gets the blow up there, but now Rossi coming through, but can't quite get it done with the Odin. Takes them low, but RRQ, they managed to hold on.
You know, 3v5, they get on the site, they get onto the C site, and I think RRQ have identified a weakness in T1's defense, and T1 essentially trying to get aggressive from the defensive side outside of B&A, and that's working in terms of getting the kills, but in terms of, solidifying the round wins, not so much. And now they're really feeling themselves in a very close round that they did just win there, so RRQ, I like that they're finding answers here. Still a bit behind the 8 ball in terms of, the scoreline and on this map. And now T1 going to look to aggress themselves out onto Mount. They're going to start off with 1. Saya, let's pick up another elsewhere. But that is going to look pretty good for the side of T1. They still do have Carpe here on the site.
Yeah, now reinforced. The Saya player rotates his way through Waterfall. 3v4. Carpe thinking about sending the Haunt. Takes quite a bit of damage, down to 5. Going to be caught with util in hand. Elmi Moore able to come away with a second elimination, but Saya player finds flips. That's now the spike down, the Viper out of the equation. Elmi Moore a bit stranded here. Sends the Prowler, manages to cut across, but Pain Shell's into Bend. Gonna force him back out into the open where he's able to challenge against Saya. He brings this back into
Nice.
a 2v2. Now a 2v1 as Estrella finds Rossi. Low HP,
Ya ampun.
as it's just a one tap necessary. There'll be more back
Kalah,
around the
Cok.
corner, swings in, but Execurate holds his ground. And he is able to find the limbs and the defuse.
Wow. Execurate just barely able to hold on to that round for T1. I thought RRQ had that one in the bag, but the clutch comes forward from Execurate to pick up 2. As you see, initially this fight outside of Mound, pretty good, honestly, for T1 Saya also got that pick, but Elmimore is really just on a tear right now. But Execurate's handling of this situation also fantastic. To take down the 2 of them in the 1v2, barely a reaction either, just kind of happy to get the job done.
A very solid clutch, but I think maybe a little bit too much energy there, a little bit too antsy from the side of Elmimore, wanting to go in for the challenge, suspecting like, okay, I probably forced him back with that Nightfall, he's decayed, etc. But Execurate, he knows how low that player is, as he just sees Jemkin bouncing in.
Toxins going up.
Gonna have a pretty decent career as a rabbit hunter.
Yeah. I loved his setup there. Execurate just making this map his right now. Saya, the jump, unfortunate for him, but he's got a lot of setup with his teammates right behind him. Izu gonna take down 2. Elmimore is watching this angle, but already 4 against 2.
Ya elah.
On the move, he's gonna go down.
Yeah,
Lihat radar,
see
Cok.
Elmimore there, hand off the mouse, just not quite prepared. As Flips just seeing if he can get any kind of damage dealt, does manage to find 1. Now Paranoid. Rossi as well, though, getting caught by his teammates. Paranoia isn't able to swing. Does end up getting taken down, so 3 members lost, but T1 get themselves up to 6 on this defender's half so far.
Dreams are a funny thing.
Yeah, and you're always gonna be happy to hit at least 6 from the defender side of this. You see the economy as well for RQ, not exactly great. Execurate starts off, sees the landing, super quick with it. Oh man.
Yeah.
One enemy remains.
Izu has been looking much improved today as far as the Omen performances are concerned. Sometimes it's been a little bit wishy-washy, and that is not a good feeling if you're an RRQ fan. Seeing the second timeout now called here in this first half, knowing that on this attack, they have to get themselves up to 6.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the rounds that RRQ are winning, it's pretty close. I mean, T1 did kind of let them in a C, and they were looking for retakes, and RRQ was winning those rounds, but oftentimes with 1 or 2 members left up, and it felt good. They strung 2 in a row together, but at the end of the day, T1 immediately strike back with some more aggression from the defensive side, and they're just not really allowing any time for RRQ to breathe. So they need now to get something going, because if you start to lose more rounds from the attacker side and you have no timeouts, might just be lights out.
I mean, it's ulta bound right now here for T1. Estrella, I mean, he could try for a TP play. They have a pit if they can get into a decent post-plant situation. But Showstopper to try to flush him out. A counter pit available, if not just one off the rip to just make one part of the map unassailable. Given Rossi's position over at A, I don't think that we're going to be seeing that quite just yet. Given that T1 has been overall handily winning these rounds, I think you can be a little bit more reactionary with your ult usage.
Back here on C, Prowler's out. Information given over Izu, and he's not ready for it once again. Jemkin quick on that shot, and they will be able to pick up the C site.
Not seeing anything.
Will take him down. So RRQ, they get the timeout. They get a nearly flawless round and a fantastic entry on the C. They got to string more than just the one together, though, as we'll take a look at how this all began.
No, just solid timing in from Elmimore. Continues to look excellent, but it's the rest of the team that just hasn't really been able to step up here alongside him. But still in a recoverable position. You can see the buy right now, 41. Very weak. Execurate, of course, full headhunter bullet, so can deal a significant amount of damage. There's a double stack on Mound. No one really peeking to give them the time of day at the moment. Estrella in a forward position, but can TP back across. It looks like Saya's going to continue inching up. Looking to take a little bit more space, and he does have that Vandal in hand.
Ya ampun.
Boy. They're going to cross over in towards Tree and wait for this pressure to be coming on in. Has the Prowler's also taken out Jemkin. Is he going to send it?
Prowler not spying much. Vulnerable's there. They are able to take out Jemkin, but not before Rossi falls. Carpet down at the back end. Excurate, however, now arriving on the site. Hit going to be invested, and oh, had the lineup, but just doesn't pull the trigger fast enough. Elmimore swings in, finds him.
Spike planted.
And now work cut out for them here for Saya and
Terus di
Izu.
belakang ini orang cok.
Weapon can be picked up. It's an operator.
It's not looking very likely, but let's see what work they can get done.
Face your fear!
That's okay, again, just looking for information there. Paranoia sent, but no way to push in off the back of that one. Just attention being pulled over towards the door. A side player gets himself over towards this spike. Creeping forward, spots one, but it's just not quite snappy enough. Estrella takes him down. Paranoia sent. Hit onto the door. Estrella potentially going to fall here as, yep, arm shot will be good. Izu can just pass this over to execute it now. But RRQ, to get within touching distance.
Yeah, again, a pretty clean one. Just a couple of picks over towards the A site. When they do go through these doors into Tree, Elmimore, very nice shot down onto Execute. Otherwise, you know, we could have seen him maybe link a couple more kills and have Execute be the hero of that round, but that was not the case. They get on in, they use the Viper's Pit. Still a lot of ults available here for the side of T1 for the last round of the half. And I think it's good for RQ. You know, they used a bunch, but they're getting value. They're trying to tie things up before this half.
There's the pit on to C. As Execute looking like he wants to try to push out of this. Does so, tries to go for the flick shot. I think a little bit of damage, but doesn't put any out in return. Just be backing away, suspecting that RQ is likely not to try to play into this pit, but it seems like that might not be the case. Especially now that Jemkin has a showstopper available. Question is, can they get a read on where Rossi would be positioned if they actually decide to try to push into this? Saya with his own off though. Bit of damage, but finds the kill.
Oh, he's just in the corner. They don't know.
I mean, he's not in it right now. Tucks back inside. Through the poison orb, and oh, Rossi not quite ready. Showstopper does get burnt, but kill is found. Pit now dropped. Izu here.
Tadi
This
ini
Stray on the left-hand
6-6.
side. The 4v4s, they try to hold this, but Carpet now sending that Nightfall. Will catch on the two. Two players disconnected back up towards Matt, however, not going to get caught as Izu starts working his way forward. Elmimore, decayed low. Starting to get his HP back, clears out on these Prowlers. The push out, headshot found. Carpet going to be taken down, Execute dead as well. Now it's all on Izu and Saya player, who still has an op in hand. Saya now
Well
gone.
played.
Izu in the 1v2, the defuse coming through. They're in a very disconnected position, but there you go. The final headshot will ring true as RRQ picks.
Ini kenapa jelek?
Yeah, I mean, 3 rounds in a row. That last one looking pretty clean as well. They go through the Viper's Pit, and Rossi just not quite able to hold on to that area of the map. They thought, okay, surely they're not going to push on in through here, but RRQ bravely get the job done. And they get that spike down on C, and there wasn't much hope for the side of T1 on the retake. And so now it's pretty much anybody's map at this point in time, with this one all tied up. But still going to be a bit curious to see how insane this T1 attacker side is going to look.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This map has been very attacker-sided favored, but in the past it was defenders for Pacific. We'll see if that rears its head here, or if T1 are going to be able to get back into the driver's seat from the attack like they did there on Ascent.
It does feel like some of the wind taken out of their sails with the last 3 rounds, though. RRQ, especially guys like Elmimore, just showing up in a big way. That is a League of Legends caster. Does the LCK. So shout out to him. He's like, oh, Valorant's really fun. I heard them talking. I think he's like, he's at least Diamond.
Okay.
In Valorant as well. They were talking about their Valorant ranks. The LCK casters. So certainly has put in a decent amount of time. He's not, you know, exceptional or anything, but that's obviously pretty difficult. Diamond, difficult for some of us as well. especially Achilleos in the minigame.
Well, in the minigame, sure.
In real life,
In the real
Valorant,
game,
it's
I
not
mean, that's
difficult.
That's no problem.
Yeah.
Get there in a heartbeat.
But for a lolcaster to get there, that's a stretch.
Hey, I used to be a lolcaster, so it is possible. Jemkin, though, going to be taking a shot into the shoulder. Jump down to 45, but still can't not be found. A side player trying to push the pace. Is going to be paranoid, but still sees enough to take out Estrella. Pain Shells now to cut off Link. Swing onto the corner, but Jemkin with the Ghost will be able to strike him down, but it's a good amount of damage across on all of these members of RRQ, and Elmi Moore is only going to be good for one as they push into the smoke.
Just kind of running at them, like through the smoke, and yeah, he got the jump on the one, but everybody else was behind him, and now Jemkin a bit low on health, and they're going to get
Rossi.
Thinking about it. Yeah, Rossi on the backside of that one, going to read the rotation, takes out Flipshider. Very low on health. These last two members should be an easy finish for the side of T1, but Sparrow
doesn't look right. He actually would have been able to see X-Grid up on top, but because they missed each other, that means that he's going to be able to get the jump here. Spots them both. Can he transfer this? Goes for the one. Into the corner. Can't quite find that second kill. Sees him drop down. Rossi still on the flank, now getting the read of it, but as he looks away, X-Grid pushes through the wall. It's a matter of timings that T1 are able to win out. 3-1 in pistols now as they regain a lead.
Yeah, it's got to feel pretty good. And again, T1 just came at them so quickly. I mean, Saya is obvious, and also the fact that he was able to get this one through the paranoia, as you mentioned, sees just the tip of the Omen, and that is enough. But then just the quick rotation to go from B straight into A, I think caught RRQ off guard, and it was a done deal from there. Nearly a chance at the end for Xfaro, but not quite enough.
Solid effort, but needed to get those initial two and bring it down to the 1v1. It's going to be a quick take on the orb. And a hell of a lot of space here for RRQ at A, but T1 starting to work their way towards C. Still puts RRQ in a bit of a rough position. Rossi going to try to hold the line here. Ghost in hand, sends out the snake bite. And they are able to get slightly around this, but still a decent amount of damage being taken. Jemkin still able to find one, but now the swing out from Izu. And does get the punish. And looks like the call from T1 is, let's take the fight. Izu says, screw it. I can win this out. Continues to push forward, finds himself a third.
Yeah, they don't have to do this, but I think they want to send a message as Estrella does pick up another here on the Saya. But of course, on the Eco RRQ, still able to get a couple of kills. It's kind of interesting, though. The biggest thing for me is that T1, they're like, let's just run at them. They could have just ran to C and planted for free, but nah, let's just go kill them.
Yeah, I mean, again, don't hesitate. Izu certainly did not. Nicely done by him as he was able to collect the 4K here on the back end. Not necessarily, I should say, the most meaningful one. Obviously, he can do plenty of cheeky plays, but a lot of times we have been seeing those get red once the Omen's trying to go for some aggressive backside TPs.
Yeah. And you remember on Ascent, T1, they went over to the attacker side as trying to hold it, not able to. Rossi at least able to trade it back, but some damage done to him.
Saya again, blast back and forth, trying to take some space, but Estrella here on up are able to find one. It's a headshot onto Carpe. And overall, so far, it's looking clean here for RRQ. Just Elmi Moore as a casualty thus far. If they can close out the round from here, they'll be feeling pretty good about it. And I think ultimately T1, I mean, given that there's the op in play, might just have to call to save the weapons that they have. They'd wish that one of them wasn't a Bulldog, but ultimately they don't have too much of a choice.
Yeah. Just wait it out. RRQ going to do the same. But I think this is a big round win for RRQ. Obviously, they stopped the bonus. It's kind of expected, but we expected it on Ascent, and it didn't happen. They got actually rolled on the 9th round win for T1, and then it was a 10th, and then the 11th, and the rest was kind of, as you guys remember in round 1, kind of just a full-on sweep. But this time, RRQ, they put up a good stance, and they don't just get rolled over here in the anti-bonus, as Izu is coming on in, and, you know, I hope I didn't speak too soon.
Could cost them. I mean, can at least try to grab the weapon or get the plant down for some added money, but eventually will fall. So Rossi, his mission is just to protect that operator. I mean, now that X gets the IGL, it's just like, oh, you have the op, your mission is to stay alive.
What did the mission used to be?
To save the operator.
But they cannot. He's not able to. Oh no.
Could have stayed tucked back behind the rubble, but decides to try to get the catch at the end and ends up losing it. And now Execute's mad. But yeah, I mean, Execute, he was playing greedily. He was trying to say, okay, I know someone's gonna push off the back of this Prowler, but they timed it so perfectly well.
Nice one.
Wait until the very last moment, right as that bite's about to come through, and only more swing in the corner gets that kill. So a bit of egg on the face of Execute there.
Well,
now no weapon for him aside from the Headhunter.
Yeah. 5 bullets and just a bit of poking out of bounds here, but T1 looks like they do want to fight this. Bit of a spread at the moment. 2-1-2. See if they do look to go elsewhere as the rotation is coming back towards A. Decent amount of poking and prodding out here near rubble just to say, okay, well, there's not really much of a defense for now.
RRQ's starting to get a good idea of this, though. I haven't seen anything at C. The warning ping down in front of B main just in case there's going to be a deep flank coming through, which Izu is in position for that potentially. 4 players in position to potentially collapse the in onto this side, but Flipshot going to be taken first and foremost. He ends up falling. Sphero can do nothing but just sit here, stay tucked, stay quiet. As Han gets a reveal, and Elwinmore is going to be taken down. Sphero now striking, comes up with 1. The site occupied here by T1. Izu now starting to work his way forward on this lurk. Jemkin looking like he's noting this, but now backs away. Oh, the timing for Izu, it could not be any better.
Yeah. Saya looking to challenge.
Straight up, about to get caught potentially.
Yeah.
As there's a swing around, he's not ready for it. This now leaves Xferal in a 1v2. Low HP here on Carpe as he moves up, tries to challenge, gets him through the corner, and they know that Izu was behind. Pulls at the half, doesn't hear the drop. Does he pull off of this one? He's gonna try to stick it, and Izu finds his timing perfectly. Just a moment away. Xferal saying, I think I'm gonna get away with this. And that's when he swings the corner.
Yeah, very good timing from the side of Izu, just across the entirety of the way that played out after the plant. But started off Saya play with a couple of big picks here. A couple of headshots. They get onto the site. Izu, this timing was the beginning of it, and then right at the end. I feel like after he had the half, there was like a bit of time where he could have came off and maybe seen it, but he wanted to be the pro that did not fake and did not work out for him. So T1, they get back on the board, 9-7. Still a close one, but still it's very threatening from the side of T1's attack, as we have seen so far.
Now, looks like, pick up on the orb. That's going to be the Nightfall available for Carpe. Door tap. Saya will play into this. Backs away as Carpe trading positions. Just have to keep that door revolving. Cover going out. So it looks like they are going to make the call to start pivoting into B. Prowler to check. Nothing noted. Jemkin nearby. So just to clear out on the turret. Wanting to add to the ambiguity here. With the door tapped again, they might just end up shifting this all the way over to A.
Yeah, still a decent amount of time. They have their own talk screen over at A. And it looks like, I don't know, well, that's where the spike is going, but we do have still Saya player looking over at Mound, maybe seeing what he can see. Look at where RRQ is positioned, though. 4 people on C.
Is this just going to be an info bait? They sent out the Prowler, and look at the rotations beginning here for RRQ. Oh, the shift back over. Showstopper out from Saya. Flipshider playing quietly, not revealing his position, but it doesn't matter. Izu just moves up through the smoke. Finds the kill, but Showstopper going to be short. Side play unable to find that elimination. Now has to back away. Nightfall coming through. Carpe shoves them back, buys some space. The plant comes in for T1.
Yeah, all things considered, a pretty nice entry with Flipshider down, and now a good setup, but Execute is going to fall down right as they are potentially going to come in through the smoke. Waterfall being spotted here by Execute, but not able to hit it, and Jemkin gets value with his Showstopper, but they don't check the corner, as Izu going to be able to pick up 1, and Carpe gets 2.
And now it is all just Xferal on his lonesome for the drop down. Gets the shot onto Izu, but it's just too many targets. Takes Carpe to 3. Just cannot confirm that kill. T1 now move up to double digits.
Yeah, that's got to feel good. I mean, this entire info play was fantastic. Izu also just creeping through the smoke, able to get that one, and Carpe so crisp. Gets the waterfall, looks back, feels the pressure, gets another headshot. They don't take the corner either, and that sets up a nice crossfire as RRQ were trying to engage on that side.
Reevaluate tactics.
And at this point, I mean, 3 rounds stretch, half armor across the board at Guardian in the hands of Elmimore. It's worth reminding everybody, you know, both timeouts for RRQ have been burned in that first half. T1, Autumn, he's not going to call one unless this gets, you know, maybe a round apart.
Yeah, at this point, I think he's probably said enough times, you know, just don't think, send it. You guys are playing really well. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's the easiest position, I guess, as a coach, as your players are playing it really well.
Yeah, just get him into that flow state where everything just feels natural.
Well, they're going to play with this door again. Certainly worked out in the last round, just to get RRQ in kind of a confused position. But RRQ, we're also trying to stack the C site and maybe try to catch T1 off guard.
Zaya's going to stay on a bit of a solo lurk. By
Did
the
this
look of
last
it here.
time.
Yeah, just wait and see what he can find. Smoke down, pushes up, and he sees enough of Estrella to be able to take him down. Rotations now starting as they move away from the A site, which is where the spike is getting ready to move up to. Flip shot around the corner.
30 seconds left.
Still suspicious, sees the gun barrel, finds it, sees the spike. Now rotations can come back. Up on the wall allows him to get bailed out, and also stands his ground to find one. Rossi will be able to finish him off there. They now go to a 3v3, but as the swing comes in, Jemkin taken down again. Attention a bit split. Izu going to be noted here on B as the spike works its way through.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, you see rotation here, and they've got it all clogged up. Every entry into this one. The poison orb. Smoke in their faces. Rossi also hugging this angle very close to where they're coming from.
A kill for either would give them the ult. There's the C's as Rossi going to be locked into position for the moment, but there's just nothing else on the back end. They might now throw down. Xero pushes up over the top of that one, but eventually it will go down to it.
Wah, udah nasrah itu,
11-7. T1 is 2 rounds away from closing out this series in 2-0 fashion, finding themselves with the first victory.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, RRQ, they got the anti-bonus, I guess, right? That one round, and that was it. Like, this is, again, another lurk from Saya player. It was pretty nice from Flipschneider to try to give them a chance, but at the end of the day, it was just clean up here for the side of T1. Right from the get-go, they were in total control of this round, so kind of unfortunate for RRQ. We're not really seeing the same level from their defensive side. As here comes Saya player once again, getting in there pretty quickly, and it's going to be Izu actually to take him down.
Jemkin dead. Hit now, invested. Nightfall is available. Saya tucking back around the corner. Does keep himself safe for the moment. Some answering spray damage comes through. Saya picked off. Elmore able to find one Prowler, confirming that there's somebody up close. And for now, the spike will not be planted. Lockdown also available here from Xero. Should they be able to get into a winnable position? And that pick on the Izu. It's looking a little bit better for them, but Carpe lurks around the back of sight, finds the catch, takes down one, and manages to avoid that Bulldog spray as Elmimore will get finished off. Lockdown now going to be committed. A 1v3 here from Xero for all the marbles. Turret cleared out. Swings, finds two, but he's not ready for Xcurate.
Oh,
just
no.
runs him down. And T1
Keren bakal
now
kena juga, cuy, masih
get
nembak gitu
themselves
kan.
up to match point, 12-7.
Kena palanya kan Kevin.
I mean, this is, that was pretty devastating, right? It was like last chance for him. He was going 1v3. He puts down the lockdown. He's sending it in the 1v3. But it just was barely not enough. Izu really clean, and oh man, just not able to feel the pressure from the third guy from the same angle, maybe not expecting that. And very unfortunate for Xfera. I thought he was nearly gonna clutch that one out. It was not the case. And now it's 12-7. T1 just nearly unbeatable on these attacker sides.
Scout around, but nothing noted. Rossi, he's not looking to play quietly. No real reason to. RRQ, trusting that that pit is going to dissuade as it's going to be a very early preventative Nightfall sent in here. Just getting those trails out, spotting multiple players.
And eventually that just goes down, and now Estrella is right there.
Helmy Moore picked off. Execute able to find that kill. Solid start, but Rossi will get traded out. Turret cleared. Xpero finding one. Looks like we might not be done quite just yet. As Execute now finds himself in a 3v1. Over the ready. Spots one for a moment. Lines up the shot, but can't draw down against Estrella fast enough. RRQ hold on by a thread, but they need 4 more rounds consecutively to force this into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got to get started with one, and maybe you get enough momentum to make this a bit interesting. You see that T1 not necessarily going to full buy on this next one, losing a lot of money in the rounds previously, and then of course losing this one. So it's really nice hold here, especially from Xpero. Feels like he's feeling himself towards the end of this map. I suppose better late than never. And he does show up in a big way in the last couple of rounds.
You want to play? Let's play.
And let's see now, big control over here on Rubble as both sides trying to get in their faces. Saya's already through the door in a tree, though.
He's got that showstopper, and looks like widely RRQ aware of this. Can they avoid it? Couple seconds, just quick corner check as he rushes up the top. Stinger in hand. There's a jump out. Saya blinded up. Jemkin able to find Carpe. Quick hops back up over the top. Execute will be able to find one with that tour de force. Rossi finds the second kill here for the squad. Jemkin elimination, but Izu now lurking. Takes out Helmy Moore. Execute finds Xpero, and suddenly this is all falling apart. Jemkin, the last one alive.
Corner, bro.
Last man standing. Drops down off the rope. The plant being held. Izu with that in his hands. And he's pushing forward, not pulling back towards tree. He's not stacking up. And the timing, Jemkin just misses him. Swing onto the corner. He is struck down. And Excurate, the new IGL, will be the finisher. A 3K as T1 will be able to find a match victory here in stage 1.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Make some changes. Things aren't working for T1 for 3 maps, and then all of a sudden, for 3 matches, rather, all of a sudden you make one change, and they just look like a totally new team. Fantastically done here in this match against RRQ.